This is Two Dudes and a Six Pack with your hosts, Grayson and Chris.
Tight, yeah!
That's good.
Join us as we cover a six-pack of topics from booze
Excellent.
to pop culture.
Inconceivable!
So, pull up a chair and crack open a beer as we discuss the best
Here's to feeling good all the time.
of the worst.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, welcome back, guys. Happy holidays and a happy new year. Whenever you listen to this, maybe it's already behind you. I don't know, but whatever holiday is coming up, happy it. And so anyways, we are here to just kind of look at booze, pop culture, everything to make the best of the worst situation. And you got me, Grayson, here to help you through it. And in Michigan, my good friend and yours, Chris.
That's right. What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
What's worse than the holidays sometimes, too, right? I mean,
the holidays is like the
Chicago.
perfect marriage of great and just utterly miserable. So
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of like the obligated, you've got to kind of do it and pretend that you have fun. I mean, sometimes they're fun, don't get me wrong, they are, but a lot of times it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah. So we're going to look at a few different things. We're going to look at the absolute worst stores to do your holiday shopping in and maybe what you might want to drink while you're doing that on the down low. We're going to look at some of our favorite holiday specials from just any kind of, TV, movies, whatever. And we're going to look at some booze that we're going to look at some booze. Because surprisingly, I have never had eggnog before. Like, I don't know how a 32-year-old man has made it this far without eggnog.
Yeah, like never? You've never tried this
Not
stuff?
that I can think. I mean, it's maybe at some point, but nothing, like, I can't think of any time where I was walking through the store, I was like, you know what sounds really good? Eggnog. Because just that nog and then beverage with egg, it's never appealed to me. So I figured, why not? On this episode, we're going to mix eggnog with different kinds of booze, see which one works, and I'm also going to chase each one with a different kind of beer just because I don't know if I'm going to like it, so I got standbys.
Yeah, beer chaser for eggnog, too. I mean, that's like a classic combination.
Yeah. So should we start pouring the eggnog? Should I talk about the beers that I got on side? How do you want to proceed?
Yeah, what beers you got? Let's start there.
Okay. I'm gonna work from the bottom and go up in terms of quality. Now I know I've mentioned before on this show the Michael Jackson beer, like 500 beers to try before you die, basically kind of book. And surprisingly, there's actually a Michelob beer in that list, and it's retired, so they don't make it anymore. But whenever I see like a different Michelob, I'm always like, oh, that's got to be it. And I pick it up and I check the book and it's not it. And it's like, God, shoot. I just wasted my money on a Michelob. But I did it again. I bought one thinking it was in the book. It was not in the book. The one in the book is a Hefeweizen by Michelob. So if you ever see that, it's quote-unquote retired. But if that ever pops
Michelob
up.
Hefeweizen.
Yeah,
Wow.
So FYI. But I picked up a Michelob Amber Bock, thinking that was the one in the book. It is not. But
Oh, yeah. I've had Amber Bock from
I think-
Michelob before.
I think I've had it before too, and I'm pretty sure I did the same exact mistake, thinking, oh, it's the one in the book. And
Yep.
So that's the beer I'm going to start off with. Then moving on, once we get to our second drink, this is one of my favorite just kind of holiday beers. They make it every year, and I always kind of at least have to try it because it's a little different recipe, I believe, every time. But this is Anchor's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year beer. And it's the one, there's always like a different kind of tree on the label. And
Yeah.
so I always dig that. So I picked up that. And then for the third one, I have kind of fallen in love with this particular brewing company. And I saw this and decided, you know what, I got to do it. It's from Southern Tier Brewing Company out of New York. And this one is called Chocolat. It's Choklat, however you're supposed to pronounce it. Yeah, maybe it's just chocolate, maybe. I don't know. They're just getting cute with the spelling. But it's a chocolate stout. They call it a dessert beer. It is 10% alcohol by volume, so it's got a little heft in there. And it's also like $5 for one single 12 ouncer, so it better be good.
It's got to be good though. I can't wait actually for you to get to that one. I'm gonna save my Southern Tier story until then, but I'm loving this brewery though for what it's worth.
It's like the first one I had was, I think, their pumpkin one during the fall. I actually did a review, forgot to put it up, and now it's kind of pointless. So that is a review that no one will ever see. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to checking this out.
I dig it. I only have one beer that I'm going with today, and it's Shorts Brewing Company's Cozy Blanket, which is an American porter.
Nice.
It's brewed out of Elk Rapids. Yep, and it's supposedly got a little bit of some holiday cheer to it. We'll see. But otherwise, I'm sticking with a lot of nog, and I'm a little bit scared of that.
Okay. Well, we might as well crack open our nogs. And
yeah.
Now I got a question. So here, at least, I didn't notice this before I moved out to Arizona. Maybe they do it in Michigan. I just was never paying attention. But in Arizona, pretty much every single store has Southern Comfort like fifths in the refrigerated section next to the eggnog. So in case
with the nog.
Yeah, with the nog. You don't even have to go to a different section. So it's like if you're really that hit up for some instant, like, I don't know, alcoholic eggnog, and you can't wait the 30 minutes to get home, it's there, ready, chilled, just for you.
Right.
So I don't know if they do that in Michigan, but it's everywhere.
No, they're not
here.
pairing it up. They don't pair it up in Michigan. Michigan's a hardier environment, though. They just sell the straight nog. They probably sell the stuff year round. To be honest with you, it's ridiculous.
That is probably true. Yes. So, all right, how much are you supposed to mix with this?
That's a great question. I'm just gonna eyeball it.
Do you like do half and half, or like?
No, yeah, I'm gonna do a typical 4-second pour with the booze, and then I'm gonna just kind of eyeball the nog.
Okay.
I don't want like a full glass of this stuff because I want some kind of a balance. I want the booze to kind of sneak through a little bit because I mean, let's face it, I'm not like, this isn't my favorite drink.
Right.
Eggnog. I don't mean the whiskey or the bourbon because I will just drink that in general.
Yeah.
So I need it to at least to taste something, you know. So I don't really know what the proportions are. I'm gonna do maybe if you ask me, it's like a shot and then maybe 2 shots, 1 shot of booze, 2 shots of eggnog. That's kind of where I'm going.
Okay.
That kind of ratio.
Okay, I can dig that.
And then if it's too strong, which it shouldn't be, I'll just cut it with more eggnog.
Right. And now you're supposed to mix it with like dark liquor, right? This
dark is usually, that's the more traditional one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the ones I have on standby. It's like, well, I could break out the vodka and the gin. I don't know if gin and eggnog is necessarily the best idea.
Yeah, probably not. I take it none of us actually made the eggnog, right? We're using store-bought stuff.
No, I'm not that hardcore with this, man.
No, that's what I'm thinking. I'm in the same spot there. The recipes I was looking up to find like maybe what was an okay mixer because I had some questions about this. There's a ton of it where people are literally just making their own eggnog. I don't know if this is a thing people are doing lately, but it's way too in depth for me. I'm just using store-bought stuff.
Yeah. So what's your first liquor of choice with this stuff?
Okay, I'm gonna go with a bit of an odd choice to start with. I'm going to use the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey Whiskey.
That could actually be pretty good, I think.
I think that's what I think. I think I'm going to start with one that's going to be okay. And then, like I said, I've got the beers on standby. That's going to be my last ditch effort if this is just god awful.
Okay.
But I think I can at least get through this first segment with some of this honey whiskey and the nog. So let's see how this goes. Finger as a stirring stick. It's always a classy move.
Nice.
For anybody listening out there. Oh wow, actually that's not horrible.
Yeah. Now did you pour over ice?
I did not. I thought about it. But no, I'm just drinking it straight up.
Okay, yeah, I'm not either. So the Honey Jack is tasting pretty good then.
I like it. Yep, actually, it almost reminds me a bit of like It almost has like a White Russian-esque.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Not, yeah, it's weird because it's absolutely not a White
Man,
Russian.
Kahlua could actually be really good with this. I didn't even think about that.
I've seen some recipes that do use Kahlua.
Okay.
And actually, it's almost like basically a White Russian without the cream. You substitute that for the eggnog.
Okay. That wouldn't be too
but
bad.
yeah. I didn't have any Kahlua on hand, and I wasn't about to make it again because that didn't work out that well last year.
Yeah. I went to the store to get like the little shooters, and they didn't have them. So I was like, wait a second, I have like a gazillion kinds of booze at home. I'll just use that. But sadly, I don't have Kahlua at the house. So
Yep,
but I do
there's
have
that.
Johnny Walker Red Label. So that is
There
the
you
first
go.
one. The Red Label is kind of what I use for mixing stuff. That's my mixing Scotch whiskey.
It's a good choice for mixing.
That, then we're gonna do. It's always nice to watch the. That is not mixing.
Yeah, there's like some minor.
It's like a little curdling kind of.
It's a weird. Yeah.
Good thing I have this green Sharpie next to me. I'll just mix it with that and make sure the
There
cap's
you go,
on.
classy move. Yep.
Okay, here is my first official sip that I can recall of eggnog with Johnny Walker. I haven't even tried it yet. Johnny Walker Red. All right, it's not too bad. I think the what is that, like clove or something that's in this stuff?
Yeah. It's got to be. I'm trying to see what's on the
nutmeg or
back.
something.
There's definitely nutmeg in there. Yep. There's a lot of these recipes that actually suggest using some grated nutmeg,
Okay.
in there. But again, just I'm not that hardcore of an eggnog person.
Yeah.
I think it is mainly the nutmeg that gives it that clovey-like
Okay.
taste.
Okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's
It's a holiday drink.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
okay.
if you-
I'm gonna chase
Just
it with this Michelob
not
Amber.
feeling it.
I'm gonna see what this Amber Bock does. We'll see which one I stick with.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. That's an interesting definition of Amber Bock.
It's a bit of a liberal
It's a
take on
it's a
it.
very lighter Amber Bock. Of course, a Bock beer is usually a little darker, so Amber is almost a little counterintuitive.
It's like right.
Usually Bock's like you got your Amber, then you got your Dunkel, and then you got your Bock. It's usually so I don't know. I mean, it's not bad for a Michelob, I guess.
What's the winner? The Nog or the Michelob
Okay,
Amber
yeah,
Bock?
let me taste the this again. I'm gonna go with the eggnog, honestly. I think for
Oh, right.
in terms of holiday cheer, I'm gonna go with the eggnog. I think I might have put a little too much Johnny Walker. I think it might be more half or a little on the tilting more towards the Johnny Walker side. So
That's how I like my Nog, man. You got to at least be able to take, make sure that's an alcoholic beverage.
yeah,
in your hand.
it is an alcoholic beverage. So round one goes to eggnog. Ding ding ding.
All right.
But okay, while we're sipping our boozified eggnog, we're gonna get into the just absolute worst stores to do your last minute holiday shopping in. Where you just like, oh crap, this is the last weekend before Christmas. Oh no. Of course, Christmas is a Monday this year, so you got that little extra oh shit time. Of course,
You do.
Of course, the mall is going to be bananas on those last couple days. So I don't know, but anyways, we just kind of my list isn't necessarily in any particular order. Because I think it kind of depends on what you're shopping for and who you're shopping for, and if you know what you're doing.
Yep.
Inside the store. So in no particular order. Also, we might discuss what kind of particular drink you should be drinking if you're stuck in the store on December 23rd. And
Yeah, what do you sneak in there just to
Yeah,
get through this
yeah.
thing?
So I'll just start it off. The first store I came up with was Joann Fabric. One, if I'm in there anyways, I want to die on a normal day, and I think Joann Fabric / Michaels maybe.
You're scraping the barrel at that point, you know.
Yeah. And this is more like for like the arts and crafty people, and usually if you're shopping for them, you don't really know what to get them, and so it's more of a problem just kind of like wandering the aisles, trying to find that one thing, and you don't know what aisle.
There's a
it is.
lot. You never know where you're going there. And then also the fabric ladies just freak me out all day long. They just sit there and like measure and cut fabric, and for whatever reason, that just like really confuses me and kind of like I get a bad vibe from these people.
Yeah, they know that you're not supposed to be there. They're just looking.
They judge you. They're very judgy.
Yeah.
They know you're an outsider.
Yeah. And everyone else in there is like over the age of 65, or they're like a design student at a local like clothing or fashion college. So yeah, but mostly it's like people over the age of 65. They like to take their time, and you're in a hurry, and this just is not working. So thankfully I don't have to go in there that often, but I just had to. I felt like I had to throw that in there. And to be honest, I think just a little bit of wine would work, because anything else might just make you too upset.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would agree with that.
So that was just kind of a quickie to get it started.
Yeah. Mine's gonna be a bit similar. I'm going with Myers, a local store up here.
Okay.
Kind
of like
it
a
basically
Walmart.
sells. Yeah, it's kind of like a Walmart. It sells just a bunch of stuff. But it's always busy, like no matter what, and it's even worse on the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who you're buying for, it just seems to be this black hole where whatever you're looking for, you're guaranteed to not be able to find it there. So you always have to go to Plan B, and Plan B always sucks.
Oh yeah. When I like Myers, the way they organize their stuff doesn't make any sense. Like they put their just as an example, their olive oil goes in like 3 different sections, and so you're just like, okay, it's not in the salad dressing section or the pasta section or anything else. It's just in some random ass section. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
Nothing makes sense there. Like I don't know who does the organization, but it's terrible.
It's awful. The only saving grace there is, and I would just go with some just straight up maybe a microbrew here or there that I would probably pull off of the shelf, open it discreetly, and pour it into some kind of a to-go cup while I was cruising the aisles.
Nice.
And just kind of refill it every time, you got low while you're trying to find it.
So make the loop back to the front. Like,
right.
Whoop. So you grab like the little Pepsi cup from the self, checkout stuff, and then you just kind of make your way to the booze.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I dig that. Next one on my list is Toys R Us.
This is mine too.
Yeah, it's just I think because you're in wall to wall, it's tight. You got a lot of kids running all over the place. You got a lot of like last minute dads that are just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get, like a 6-year-old daughter that I only see 5 times a year. I don't know, and it's like it's pandemonium of just trying to buy well overpriced toys. It's just like,
oh yeah, it's like a labyrinth in there. Like you're saying, it's like the aisles are so thin. The ins and the outs, usually you have to go through like almost a security system to even get out of the store because they're so worried about shoplifting over there.
Yeah, and you wonder why the place is going bankrupt. I can't even imagine.
I don't know.
Maybe because
Jeffrey the Giraffe has had a bad year.
Yeah, maybe because you charge twice the price with the exact same toy that you get at Target, man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, I can't remember one time that I went with my mom to Toys R Us and she actually bought me something. I think it was always like, nope, it is too expensive here. We're getting your G.I. Joes someplace else.
Yeah, right, exactly. What are you boozing at in the Toys R Us?
Oh, I think I'm just going straight absinthe. I just going straight for the green fairy. I need to hallucinate for this thing to work, and then maybe the toys are fun. Maybe it's all a good time now that I'm just kind of tripping on. I figure, it'd be cheating if we're dropping like actual, like speed into our vodka. So I figured, absinthe is kind of as close as we're gonna get.
I like it. For me, I'm finding the loneliest looking, depressed dad and we're sharing a flask in the back corner of the space somewhere with whatever he's got. It's probably cheap and it's awful, but he's got to get through this too, and we can just commiserate for a little bit.
Okay, I dig that.
It's like the find a buddy store, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're never gonna make it out alive.
Oh yeah, it's just like it's the buddy system. Yeah, it is. Otherwise, yeah, that Sarlacc pit of just toys is just not gonna let you out. But all right, since Toys R Us was for both of us, what's your next one?
Okay, my next one on the list is the good old Walmart. Kind of like Meijer, but it's a
Okay.
little worse than that,
Yeah,
right?
Walmart's definitely on
Now
my
you're
list.
just-
That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could it not
Walmart
be?
falls. It has to be, right? I mean, I don't think 99% of America probably has gotten some gift at Walmart, some last minute thing at some point or another.
Mhm. Especially that 24-hour Walmart.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. And this one I kind of like if Toys R Us is like the labyrinth, then I'm thinking that Walmart is basically like an episode of The Walking Dead, and you're essentially just trying to get out of there without becoming a zombie.
You're getting bit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I usually, whenever I go to Walmart, it's usually at like 1 a.m. because I'm up late and I'm like, I need to go shopping. It's like, yeah, nobody will be there. And then the occasional time that I go during the day, it's like, and this is why I don't go during the day.
Right.
You all are weird. Like, I don't get it.
The nighttime is like they're gonna pop around the corner. You never know because it's super quiet, and then the daytime is just straight up horde, and you're just like fending stuff off.
Oh yeah. It's like you're trying to climb up the top of like the freezer aisles and jump from section to section, but they frown upon that apparently.
Yeah, right. That's not good.
No, and then you hop into like the Batman like self-driving Batmobile that kids get nowadays. And just kind of,
Right.
Have you seen those? Some of these like self-driving cars that kids get are amazing.
They're crazy. They're like better than the first car I had when I was 16 years old.
Yeah, there's the Batmobile. You got like a Ford F-150 Raptor, and it's just like, what is going on here? Like mine actually had like foot pedals that you had to like kick back and forth for it to go.
Yeah,
It wasn't even battery powered. It was like Flintstone powered.
That's it. That's what I had too, man. The good old foot pedal system.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, kids these days, man.
Oh, they don't even know. They got like zero idea.
No. So what kind of liquor you're pulling out for your Walmart shopping extravaganza?
I'm going like at the 11th hour. I'm straight up taking a dirty 30 pack and just completely open intoxicant, not even trying to hide it at the Walmart. It's like I keep going back to The Walking Dead, but you know how they put all the guts on themselves and they kind of walk through and nobody kind of bothers them? That's kind of like what that is.
I like that. I like that analogy. Mine was just going with like a whiskey and an energy drink. I feel like, okay, I need some extra,
Yes.
like I need the energy to get through this, and I also need to numb my mind so I don't just like look at like you crazies. And so just like, okay, we just gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Do it. Don't think about it.
Yeah. So all right, after Walmart, I got Hot Topic. I don't know if you threw this one.
Yeah.
Out there. This one was I don't normally go into Hot Topic. You maybe pop in once in a while at the mall because they do have some kind of cool pop culture-y nerd stuff now. I remember, maybe when we were in high school, it wasn't like that. That was like you're like, oh man, I don't know. Like
in high school, it was like you had to walk in there like in Kevlar apparel. I felt like.
Yeah, that was
I mean, it was
definitely like the goth,
crowd.
almost Spencer's Gifts kind of thing. But
Yeah.
since nerd culture is such a big thing now, you can get a lot of like kind of T-shirts and other toys. If you're into the Funko Pop things, there's stuff like that. And I was actually shopping for a particular Funko Pop for somebody, and you walk in. Of course, the store is claustrophobically just tight. You feel like you're in the trash compactor of Star Wars. Like the walls are starting to come in. You need to like brace it with something. And then like the walls of the Funko Pop, they literally go up like 30 feet. You have to ask somebody for a ladder to go up and get it. And then if you're like shopping the last day before Christmas, it's gonna be just so packed with like the Walking Dead zombies, and you can't even move. You're getting claustrophobic, and you just like you pass out and you start shaking in the corner because you just can't handle it. It's just they already have so much stuff in there. You can't move even if nobody was in there. So
Right, exactly.
You put 5 people in there and you just feel like you can't breathe. You need like a paper bag. You just and it's I don't know. Like good on the people that can work there, but it's a little too claustrophobic for me. But
It is. Yeah, I hear you.
so, and I actually went with the White Russian. I feel like, okay, this will kind of mellow me out. It'll be very dude-like.
That is. I like that.
Like, that's what I was going for. Another Caucasian. So, that's the drink. I can't remember the bartender's name right now that he asked the Caucasian from. But that just seemed like, okay, you got your vodka kind of, but then you got your cream and your Kahlua to kind of mellow you. So it just felt like that seemed like the good drink for a Hot Topic.
Yep. I
And
agree,
that
man.
seemed like the kind of place where if you use the reference, people might get it, maybe.
They probably would. It's got a lot of geek culture in there now.
Yeah. I feel like if of any store you're going to be at the mall, Hot Topic will be the place that gets the Big Lebowski reference.
Yes, most definitely.
It's all right. Back over to you if you got any more.
Okay, but I got another one here, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I'm putting Sears on this list. I just
Okay.
hate Sears. I just don't know what it is about it, but I just absolutely hate it.
Oh,
Every time I've
agreed.
gone in there, like, what is this store? Sometimes it feels so dead, and everything just seems like, and I never know really what you're gonna kind of find. Like, yeah, I get it, they sell appliances, but sometimes they sell like PS4s just sitting in there for some reason because they got
Yeah.
a shipment of it in. It's just
Yeah.
so random to me. Like, I really don't get it. I feel like it's a life sucking pit when you kind of walk through those doors.
Yeah.
So Sears for me is maybe the worst experience.
I don't even know how they're open. Like, how have they not
I
just
don't
completely
either.
gone bankrupt yet? Like, it's just
Not like ever since the internet happened and Amazon then blew up. How
Yeah.
did Sears just hang on? I don't know.
It's like after you stop needing the Sears catalog, it's just like bloop, there's just no reason to go.
No, none.
I still remember. So the last time I actually shopped at Sears, I had just come back from an extended trip, and it was like the day before my birthday. But my grandmother had passed away while I was gone, and her funeral was, of course, on my birthday, so I'd have to drive up to northern Michigan to go to this thing. But it was in the middle of winter, and nobody had driven my old car in 5 weeks, even though I was like, can you guys just like turn it on and like drive it around the block to, so the end nothing dies on it because it's an old car. Nobody did that, and the battery died, and whatever. So I got to tow it, and the only place I was like open or close by was a Sears, and all I needed was a new battery. Changing out your battery should take 3 minutes. It's not a complicated thing to do. You just pop off a few things, pop it out, put in a new battery, boom, good to go. It took them over 6 hours to do it.
Oh man.
I missed the funeral. My birthday was just pissed away, and it was just like, I hate you guys. I hope you all go bankrupt. I'm gonna put a spell on you guys, like some voodoo curse, and you will go bankrupt. So maybe this is all my fault, or my doing, why it's about to go under.
That's right. Maybe people should be thanking you, send you like letters of like, thank you for ruining this horrible thing that existed.
Yeah. I just don't understand why it took them 6 hours to change a battery. It's just like, dude, like, are you like in the back looking up manuals? Like, okay, we got.
That's like that's such a Sears thing. Anybody that's been in a Sears, unless you work there and you're like super mad that we're like dogging on Sears right now, which I really sincerely doubt. But anybody that's been in this store, they've had that experience.
Yeah.
Where something that should have taken 10, 15 minutes takes 6 hours.
Yeah. I think actually I also tried, I was having problems with a particular vacuum cleaner, and I took it in, and so you go to like their self-service section or whatever for like small appliances, and they're looking with it, and they literally spend 30 minutes with it, and they're like, oh, warranty's not covered here. You got to go someplace else. It's like, well,
Oh, nice.
you
That's
couldn't have told me that
fantastic.
like at the beginning of this entire thing. So I don't know. Sears, you suck.
You do. You
So
suck.
what kind of booze are you drinking there?
The booze that I'm drinking there is good old Irish coffee. That's
Oh.
really the only thing I can think of to kind of get me through a Sears thing.
Okay.
And I sort of already sort of hate that anyway. Like if I'm drinking Irish coffee, it's probably been a horrible day somehow.
Uh-huh.
If I'm, boozing and also trying to like not fall asleep and stay awake for a little
Right.
bit at a time. And to me, it just kind of, I feel like it fits. I feel like basically the coffee at Sears, somewhere very close by, is some hidden stash
Mhm.
of cheap whiskey, and I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in that crappy coffee.
Ah, okay. Nice. So, all right, I got one left on my list.
Yeah, what you got?
And this is Best Buy. I can't shop at Best Buy during the holidays because one, it's incredibly crowded, but the bigger problem is it's crowded with people that don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what the hell they're shopping for, and they have a gazillion billion questions for the store people. So it's just like, you know what you got, you know what you got to get, but they have to like grab it for you from like, behind something, and but you can't get to them because you have somebody asking a million questions about who knows.
Yeah, whether like a cell phone comes in the color black or not, and it's like literally black when the one that they're holding.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you asking the question right now?
And it's just that for everything, and then it's impossible to check out because the line goes like just crazy. So it's just like, I hate going into Best Buy during the holidays. It's just, can't do it, man. Cannot do it.
No.
So I'm stepping my White Russian up to Black Russian. I'm just ditching the cream altogether. I just need, just some,
Need some.
just some vodka and Kahlua. Just
Right.
just like, yeah, like
Best Buy is another one of those stores where I'm surprised they're just holding on to.
right. It's just
It's
because,
like,
yeah, all that stuff you can get on like Amazon for cheaper.
I pity anybody that has to go last minute holiday shopping at any of these places.
Yeah. But so you got any more, or are you all cashed out?
No, the only other ones are kind of like honorable mentions, places that are you just know are bad.
Okay.
So you got your Big Lots on there. That's just god awful anyways. Like if you ever find yourself in a Big Lots, you're probably better off just going down the road to the gas station and buying some stupid keychain there than you are trying to find something at Big Lots.
Yeah.
And also like Staples and Office Max and stuff, stores like that.
Uh-huh.
Those stores they're just basically like other Sears to me. I just pretty much hate myself as soon as I walk in there.
Yeah. I'm just like, God, what am I doing? Yeah, I got nothing else. So
I think I'm done with the holiday shopping this year too. So I don't think I'm gonna find myself in any of these situations.
nice.
Although it always ends up being like the one thing you kind of forgot, or you find out so and so's coming to this holiday thing, and now you got to scramble and get a gift.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that to happen, but I don't think I'm gonna find myself in any of these situations this year, which is kind of awesome.
The worst is when you scramble to get the gift and then they don't show up. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
that's why usually for that those kinds of things for like extended family, I just get like a bottle of wine or some kind of edible thing. So it's like, I guess I'm just gonna take it home with me.
Right. I'll make sure this.
Too bad. Yeah, I snooze you lose. I'm taking my wine home with me. I might crack it open right now in the back of the car. I don't
Right.
know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Depends on how it went.
So all right, what is your nog number deuce? Your deuce
Okay,
nog.
Deuce Nog. I'm gonna go a bit more traditional.
Okay.
I did the same thing you did. I basically just scoured my cupboard and found the bottles of booze that I had available for this, and then just double checked and was like, "Yep, that'll work." So I'm moving away from the Tennessee Honey Whiskey, and I'm moving to the Wild Turkey Kentucky Straight Bourbon.
Nice.
And so again, I really think this is going to be more or less of a very similar thing. It won't be as sweet,
Right.
but the nog already has a fair amount of And I'm just gonna kill the bottle. I don't even care what that is.
Well, and I
That's
think it should have a little higher alcohol content because I think the honey is like 25 or 30%.
Yeah, right. It is. It's a little bit burlier for sure.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be a gentleman with this one and actually find a stirring stick.
Oh, boo.
Right? Right.
Boo.
Yes. Boo. All right, let's see. And it basically just tastes like eggnog that I put whiskey into it.
Okay. Yeah.
The honey jack actually had something of a more of a complexity. I mean, these are pretty simple drinks. We're just pouring booze into it and mixing it with eggnog.
Yeah.
But it still had something else to it. This is basically this feels like this is a lazy attempt, but it'll work. It'll work.
I still got a couple other kind of booze to pick out, but since you went with the bourbon, I decided to go with the bourbon as well. I think I had this on a few episodes, or at one of the episodes previously. It's the Bird Dog 10-year-old bourbon whiskey. It's a very small batch, and normally you probably wouldn't mix a 10-year-old bourbon with eggnog, but what are you going to do?
It's the holidays, man. That's what you're going to do.
So I'll just pour that in. I don't know how much that was. Tell you what, man, they want you to drink holiday eggnog, but a serving size of eggnog is half a cup. Half a cup is 180 calories. So, cheers to you, you fatties. Half a cup. That's like you can't even put that in cereal.
Yeah, seriously. At the cup, I think. No, not quite that much, but still.
All right, I'm using my Sharpie pen to mix. Maybe I shouldn't have because it'll cross-contaminate with the Johnny Walker. Stir. There's probably not going to be a giant difference here, to be perfectly honest. Since I'm moving from the blended Scotch to bourbon, but all right, here goes nothing. Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Yep.
Pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, I'm not like blown away
No.
with the alcoholic eggnog.
So, all right, I am going to chase this with the Anchor's 2017 Holiday Christmas Beer.
Nice.
And we're going to see which one wins of the two. All right, crack that open. Let's see. To be perfectly honest, I'm a little disappointed with this Christmas beer.
Really?
Yes. It does not taste very holiday-y to me.
Just tastes kind of standard.
Yeah, it really does. It really
basically just like a beer.
It just tastes like, Anchor's pretty decent. And
Yeah,
they got a lot of, but it just tastes like one of the other, your standard kind of Anchor Steams or whatever, and they just slapped a Christmas label on it. To me, there's no, like, holiday, you don't have the cinnamon or the nutmeg.
Yeah.
You don't have, like, the spice that goes into, like, a holiday beer. So it really just tastes like an Anchor beer. And I gotta say, I'm disappointed with that.
So is that 2 for 2 for eggnog?
That might be, man. That might be. Like, the only reason I'm giving it to eggnog is because it tastes like holiday.
Like a holiday thing, right? It's just that little bit, because that's not a great drink, this eggnog and bourbon.
No.
But it does taste like a holiday thing.
This might be the biggest sin against beer I have ever said. I might take the Michelob Amberbach over this one.
That's incredible. Wow, it's even going to lose out to a A Michelob. And I'll have to say too, in the scheme of big mass-produced beer companies, Michelob was like my dead last, least favorite one out there.
It's just I don't know. I think just the drinkability, like you can pound away a 6-pack of Michelob Amber Box without a problem. And this one is just I don't know what to make of this, man. Like it's just
Maybe it's a bad
disappointing.
batch. But yeah, that's so surprising.
Yeah, it's just maybe it just tastes like burning, like the trees around San Francisco right now. Wah,
Right.
wah, wah.
Ah, too
Too
soon.
soon.
Probably not. No, that's
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, if you live in California. I'm really just, I apologize.
hey, make better beer. That's all we got to say.
Yeah, Anchor. I mean, I praised you. I said at the beginning of the show that Anchor is one of my favorite, just every year Christmas beers. That's just one of those things that I gotta pick up because I like it. This one is a miss. It's a hard miss, man. I'm sorry.
Ah,
You missed the holiday spirit in your spirit.
right. It happens.
But anyways,
what a
while
bummer.
I'm drowning my sorrows in this bourbon and eggnog, we're going to get into our favorite holiday specials. And this could be any kind of TV show, any kind of movie, just something that comes on generally during the holidays it's like our favorite thing. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be Christmas. It's just a holiday special, you know? So did you rank yours or did you just kind of come up with a handful?
It's a loose ranking, but honestly, it's I kept mine a lot to like the Christmassy type stuff.
Okay.
So they're like super interchangeable to me.
Okay. Yeah. I pretty much mine too. I do have some honorable mentions. I don't know if you have any.
I've got one. I have one honorable mention this time.
Okay. Well, what's yours? What's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention this time is the Howard the Duck Christmas special.
Okay.
It is a Marvel comic book.
Uh-huh.
It came out, I think, in the mid '90s. I want to say 1997.
Okay.
But it was in like that 96, 97 range ish. And it's a one-shot comic book. But basically, there's Santa Claus in it and some elves that are like basically sexy Halloween costumey type bimbo types. And Howard the Duck, I mean, it is a Howard the Duck comic book.
Right.
And for whatever reason, it's not a good comic book, but it's just one of those. I love it mainly for the cover. The cover's got like Howard with his like cigar and just like flying around with this huge, obnoxiously fat Santa Claus. And I've always just kind of dug it for that reason.
Nice. All right, I got two honorable mentions. One is the Futurama Christmas episodes, and that's where Santa is a robot Santa, and he just tries to kill everybody. Like,
Yes,
he's like,
yes.
everyone's on his naughty list, so he's like flying around with a bazooka, just trying to like massacre anybody that's still out in the streets at midnight of Christmas. So it's just like a random take on Christmas. I don't know. It's a nice change of pace from a lot of the stuff that's on TV during the holidays. So I like that.
Yeah, right.
And then my other honorable mention is an episode from The Office. It's one of their Christmas episodes, and it was the one where Dwight and Jim get in like a snowball fight, and like at the end of the episode, Jim walks outside, and there's just a bunch of like snowmen, like built out of like it's snow, it's snowmen. But early in the
Yes,
episode,
right.
like there was one snowman, and Dwight had popped out of it and just like blew him up with snowballs. So now when he walks out and there's just like 3 dozen snowmen, he's just like like losing his mind.
He's like super freaked out by this.
Yeah, and he's like attacking it, and you just see like Dwight on the top of the building just kind of laughing at it.
Is this the one? Now, I haven't seen this episode in a long time, but is this the one where Jim kind of surprises Dwight and then basically ends up paying for it in a bad way? Like Dwight just kind of takes it over the top.
Oh yeah, like I think Jim sees like snow for the first time. He's like, "Hey everybody, it's snowing," and then Dwight's like, "Oh look, little girl." He's like, whatever, and then like Jim gets like a snowball and just kind of nails him, and then Dwight just takes it to extremes.
Basically to like a terrorism level.
Yeah, just it's actually kind of amazing. But so those are my 2 honorable mentions. But
Dig it.
all right, so in your 5th place spot or whatever, what is it? What do you got?
5th place, I have Home Alone. I put Home Alone in the number 5 spot.
Okay, nice.
Mainly just because growing up, like I was the right age range when that movie first came out. And so like I don't know if this movie has really aged well, or if I just kind of nostalgically look back at it and was like, man, if I was like his age, and if that happened to me, I would love to just set these stupid traps up, all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about it, but it's just one of those like kind of movies where nowadays I can kind of put it on and sort of go back to it, but it's kind of like the layup, so to speak. So
Right.
everybody's seen it.
Is this exclusively the first Home Alone, or are you including the second one in it as well?
You know what? I didn't really think about the sequels that much. I'd probably loop in Home Alone 2 in there a little bit, because I don't think that movie was. I liked both of them. I mean, I was still young enough to kind of think they were hilarious.
Yeah.
But it was mainly like when I was thinking about it, it was largely just the first one.
Yeah.
Because you had like the spider, escaping, and then the water bandits for just kind of cracks me up, especially kind of thinking about it now, because it's just such a dumb thing to kind of do. But
yeah, just flood somebody's house.
Right, just because. It's like some kind of like weird calling card.
Yeah.
It did have that weird classic, like the scene that you kind of see in those old movies where, like, didn't he go to a church or something, and he kind of has like a moment?
Yeah, and he meets like his neighbor, the old dude.
Yeah.
They're scared of, but they kind of have this bond.
Right.
There.
And it's kind of, if you think about it, it's a moment that really takes you out of what was really happening otherwise.
Yeah.
But you saw this happen a lot in these kinds of movies. It seemed like there's always that one scene where you're just like, what? I mean, it's supposed to be a turning point for the character, but at the same time, it almost breaks the wall a little bit.
Yeah. Of course, it's like crazy because like John Williams does the score to that thing, so you don't normally think of John Williams doing like a goofy, almost slapstick comedy. Not quite slapstick, but close. Of course, it also has one of the best, I think, just traditional, just Christmas music scores. I feel like if I had to listen to one movie's like just like Christmas music, I'd probably pick that because it's got a pretty good classics and then some of the Nat King Cole kind of stuff that I could dig.
Yep.
But all right, my 5th place is way out of left field, and it just like. The first time I saw it, it just stuck with me because it's almost disturbing. I mean, it's not almost; it is disturbing, but I have to watch it once a year, and it is the South Park episode with the like the woodland Christmas critters.
Yeah,
They're like satanic, and they're trying to like bring back the birth of Satan so that they can like take over the world. And there's a scene where there's like when you first find out that they're demonic, they like. Decide to self-sacrifice like a rabbit, and the rabbit's super pumped that he gets to get sacrificed, and they just like they cut him open. He's like, yeah, and they're just ripping out his organs, and then like blood splaying everywhere, and they're just like blood orgy, and then you see like these little animals having sex with each other and like in blood, and it's just like what is happening with this? What is going on? And then like at the very end, like right before the episode ends, you find out that it's actually Cartman that's telling the story. And like a Cartman, you can't tell the story anymore because they had to have because like the like the devil had been impregnated in like Kyle's butt or something like that, and then they're like, we have to give him an abortion. They had to give him an abortion through his butt, and like these, and it's just like what is going on? And of course, everyone's like, you gotta stop, or the teacher's like, you gotta stop, and all the kids are like, well, I kind of want some closure with this. Like, what happens? Like, they're like, fine. And then so he basically says, and everyone lived happily ever after, except for Kyle, who died of age. I don't like it. It's like the not even close to being Christmassy, but I just with
But
that.
But it is though. At the same time, that's a good pick.
That
I
of
like
course
that
you
pick
could
a lot.
add in the Christmas poo ones. What is that?
Yeah, Mr. Hanky. That's
Mr.
where at
Hanky.
first that's where I thought you were going, and then I totally forgot about the woodland critters until just now.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's that show is I don't think enough has been really appreciated about what those guys have done. They
Yeah.
kind of had a special where they kind of broke down their own creative process, and it's actually kind of fascinating to watch. I can't remember what it's called, so that'll help the audience. But it was
That's
good.
South Park
Find it
special.
on your own. Yeah, exactly right. But no, that's those guys. I just I have such a good appreciation for what those guys do. And the thing is about the gore and the absurdity about what's happening. There's generally some underlying truth or weird message that you can actually kind of glean out of it.
Yeah.
It's not all together just completely mindless. That's what I kind of love about it.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing.
I've actually been so I got like subscribed to Hulu, and they have all the episodes on it. So I was just watching like the last couple seasons that I just haven't watched South Park in a couple years. And then there's one where Mr. Garrison ends up running for president, and he becomes basically like a Donald Trump kind of thing. And so everyone like hates the town. And so they're trying to find a way to make the town like, no, don't hate us. So they're like, okay, the best way to do that is to bring a Whole Foods in. So it's like, okay, let's try to bring a Whole Foods in. So they're trying to figure out a way to do like get Whole Foods interested in the town. And so they create like this hip new like thing that you sing in basically every single middle-sized city, where you have the mixed-use buildings where you have like the restaurants on the bottom and like the condos on top, and they're making it all like hip and whatever, and they kick out all the poor people so that everybody's like kicking it whatever. And I swear it's exactly what like Lansing, Michigan, like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They basically shut down a trailer park and moved it all out so they could bring a Whole Foods in. And that's what happened on this thing. And like the whole thing, you're just watching it, you're just like, that's like exactly. I'm sure that's happened in a lot of small towns around the country.
Right.
And then they find out that ends up like because of this one thing, because of Whole Foods, the price of rent ends up getting so high that everybody that lives there has to move out because they can't afford to live in their own town anymore. And it's just like this, I don't know, like everything that's going on, it's like, yeah, like all this is pretty much kind of true. And so it's just like South Park, you geniuses. You're crazy, but you geniuses.
Yes. I gotta like rewatch this Woodland Critters episode now.
I know.
Totally forgot about that.
Okay, what's your number 4?
Okay, number 4. Again, sticking very much in a kind of a safe lane here, but I got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Ah, nice.
It's again just another one of these movies where I liked it as a kid because I liked the slapstick kind of humor. But then as an adult, I kind of really commiserate with Clark Griswold on a lot of different levels now. And I just kind of like feel for the guy because sometimes there's years where you're just like, this is my Clark Griswold year right now, and I'm just gonna have to get through it as best I can. You're gonna have to imagine some, scantily clad bikini girl walking, towards me or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those movies where I've always kind of liked the older Chevy Chase stuff.
Yeah.
And one of these movies where it's easy to just put it on, set it, and forget it. If you're in like a holiday mood party kind of situation, nobody's got to sit down and pay attention to it.
Right.
Everybody's got kind of a favorite scene here or there. So that's my number 4.
Yeah. I feel like, what is it? Is it Cousin Eddie? That's the one that
Yeah.
I feel like I'm almost him of my family. Just like the loner that's probably off drinking when he should be at the house. So just like, if I only had an RV, it'd be perfect.
Right.
But all right, my number 4 is a total polar opposite of the South Park Christmas Critters. It is the Muppet Christmas Carol. So
Yes, this is such a good one.
yeah, it's one of my just favorite. I don't know. I love anything the Muppets. They're always like they do a good job of having like drama and humor and everything put together nicely. And I don't know. It's great. Then you have Michael Caine. Is it Crane or Kane?
Crane, I think.
Okay, yeah. And then he's like the main he's Scrooge, and he's like
Scrooge. Yep.
just a great actor for that. You know that like historical or that trained British actor, stage actor that just nails it. And
Yep.
I don't know. That's one of those movies that I always gotta like see once during the holidays. It's just I don't know. How do you not get happy when the Muppets are on?
Seriously, A Muppet's Christmas Carol. It's made my number 2. That was my number 2 on the list.
Nice.
Yeah, because of that whole thing. I love the Jim Henson stuff. Obviously, it stays kind of true to a very classic tale, which
Yeah.
I appreciate. But then it's got a lot of really cool humor in there, and yeah, it's fun. There's an interesting Easter egg on the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Okay.
If you pause it, it goes to the Muppets like humming a bunch of weird Christmas carols, like it's an intermission or something
Okay.
like that.
Nice.
And I just kind of found it by accident. And so I love like the little surprises that they kind of build into it,
Yeah.
which is just very, very Jim Henson, very Muppets.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, how do you get mad at the Muppets?
Yeah, I think that one and the Muppet Treasure Island are just two of my favorites. I mean, they're probably my 2 favorite Muppet movies. I think those 2.
Yes. Yep.
But I mean, the Muppets have been around for forever.
Ever. But
But all right. Well, my number 2 was actually Home Alone. That's just one of my again, you're growing up, you're just the right age, and there's still stuff that makes me laugh. I can talk to my older sister about it because that was kind of her age too.
yeah.
Excuse me. And it's just it's just one of those movies that just I don't know, like a couple Halloweens ago, me and my buddy Ryan, we went as the Wet Bandits.
Yes. Nice.
So and it was actually really great. Like I was I think is Harry the small? No, Harry's the tall one, and then Marv is the short
Yeah,
one.
I think so. I think you're right.
Okay. Either way, I was the short one. I was the Joe Pesci or whatever. I'm sure I just said his name wrong, but so and I had like the hat that I had singed and I stuck like feathers all over whatever that, and Ryan like painted or had like the iron stain on his face.
Yes,
And,
yes.
We actually got into the bar with crowbars. We kind of hit them.
Oh,
so
yeah.
But you can't walk around.
Amazing.
And of course, everyone's like, "What are you guys?" And we're like, "Oh, we're Marv and Harry from."
no.
And as soon as we say it, they're like, "Oh man, that's awesome!"
That's hilarious.
Of course, the guy that
yes.
was supposed to be Kevin didn't show up, so that kind of that would have helped with the identification of who we were. Actually,
what happened? Did you just like
I don't-
chicken out,
I don't
or
remember what
something else
happened,
going
but
on?
I also don't know how he would have dressed up as Kevin. Like, what do you do? Like,
Yeah. You kind of, I don't know. You walk around with aftershave and a Domino's pizza or something. I have no idea what you do. Right?
Yeah,
That's kind of a hard
yeah.
one.
That was
Yeah. You know what? That movie. I've showed that movie to my daughter Berkeley. She's 8 and she
Okay.
loves it.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, it's one of these movies where it does appear to have a bit of a lasting appeal. I totally had forgotten about the John Williams score too until you said that, and it's like, yeah, it actually had a really good score to it.
Yeah. Like some nice like classical Christmas like undertones mixed in with your classical John Williams, fully instrumentation score. It's just I don't know. But
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
so all right, what is your numero uno?
Oh,
holiday special? Oh no, we got
numero-
2 more. We got 2 more.
yeah. We can back up. I got number 3.
I'm all
Because
over
we
the
kind
place.
of
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. We both had you had Muppets at 4 and I had it at 2, and then we went back to Home Alone.
Oh yeah, sorry. I can't count my handwriting.
You're good. It's all that nog, man.
Yeah.
No, but my number 3, I've got Elf. Will Ferrell's Elf.
Okay, nice.
This is a movie. It's another one of these movies where I usually put it on once a year. I'm a Will Ferrell fan, for the most part, I feel like some of his movies I have to watch a couple times for it to really kind of sink in here or there. But for this one, it's just one of those another easy one where, like I said, you put it on, you don't have to really pay attention to it. Everybody's kind of got their favorite scenes. Mine in this one is when he's down in that mail room and he's just like boozing up with the with the dude down there.
Uh-huh.
And I just kind of like that. And then just I like the innocence that he played as the elf with a bit of the romance when he meets what's her name? She's in the New Girl, Zoe Deschanel.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that. She's got blonde hair. It's kind of strange, but but I like the cutesy romance between the two of them. So that kind of stole into number 3 for me.
Okay, nice. All right, so my number 2. Yeah, I'm at number 2 now. I'm trying to okay, South Park, Muppets, Home Alone. Okay, number 2 for me is The Simpsons. I had to go with since the very first episode of The Simpsons was
the first one, right?
Was a Christmas episode. It was Simpsons
yes.
roasting on an open fire.
This is my number 1.
So, nice. Yeah, this was it was just I don't know, it's a great story. Homer misses out on his Christmas bonus. So they don't have the money. And so he takes up a random ass job as a Santa Claus, mall Santa, doesn't get the money really from that. And then they end up with Santa's little helper, the dog. And it's just a great little story for that episode. And then, you can take been some really fantastic Simpsons Christmas episodes since then. There's, I love the one where Bart accidentally sets the tree on fire and lights all the Christmas presents, and then he's got he has to lie about it, and then it's just a whole. They actually have some really, really great just Christmas episodes. I have a DVD somewhere. It's just 5 Simpsons Christmas episodes, and it's just
the Christmas ones.
Yeah, and it's just,
they're really good.
Yeah, it's just especially the older Simpsons episodes where they really had they kind of touched you. A lot of them, people nowadays that grow up on The Simpsons now, they're just kind of used to it being off the wall and goofy, whatever. But they're those first maybe 5 seasons. I mean, they tackled some really serious, people looking at having affairs. They just, they're gonna leave. They just it was a comedy but serious, and just I don't know. It's
I'll jump on that one too and agree with that. This one made my number 1, The Simpsons roasting on an open fire, and it made it because I love The Simpsons for one. It took me until I was doing a little bit of research before we hopped on this podcast, and I didn't realize until today that was the first legit 30-minute episode for them. So it's this thing kind of kicked off the longest running, television cartoon show I think ever.
Yeah.
And so that's incredible for that little bit of trivia there. But like you said, dude, it does have these painful moments in there mixed in with some pretty funny things.
Yeah.
So they're at the he goes to the bar and he's just drinking his pain away from that bonus, and Barney comes in all drunk in the Christmas, costume thing. And I think that's kind of how he gets the Santa gig.
Yeah.
And then later on, the two of them with Bart go to the racetrack so that he can bet the last $99 he has and try to win back, win this Christmas miracle thing, right? He's just betting on this kind of a prayer situation. And there's this top dog that he should have bet on. And the voiceover comes over and they announce Santa's little helper is entering the race. So Homer changes his bet, and of course Santa's little helper is just a total loser.
Yeah.
And so there's this moment in the cartoon where in the episode where the race is over, Santa's little helper hasn't yet finished yet, so they already know the winner. And Homer's like, no, we're gonna stay here until our dog finishes. And there's like radio silence for like 10, 15 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, screw it, we're just gonna go home. And the next scene after that, so that's a painful scene just there. It's kind of like father and son, they've lost all their money. Christmas is basically ruined.
Yeah.
They're watching this, horrible dog try to finish the race. They give up on that. And the next scene, they're in the parking lot looking for winning tickets that people have maybe discarded in the parking lot, and it's just such like, it's those moments that aren't really in the show anymore.
Yeah.
Because it is so, like, slapstick, but it was so good for its time back then. And it obviously ends okay because they get Santa's little helper and he becomes like a character forever too after that. But
Yeah.
that one made my number one.
Of course, and then like the dog runs up to him because the owner is like chasing after him for being just a loser, and he like basically kind of almost hops into Homer and Bart, and then Homer's like, he's a loser, and then he just looks at him and he's like, he's a Simpson.
Yeah,
right.
Him,
like it saves Christmas, and it's just like, it's not necessarily like a super funny episode. Like it's not overtly funny. You might chuckle a little bit, but it's more just kind of like heartfelt and serious, and just
Yep.
So, all right. Since that's did you already do your number 2?
2 is Muppets. Yeah, Muppet Christmas.
Okay. So my number 1 isn't even really a Christmas episode, but it is a Festivus for the rest of us. And I just,
yes,
I just think since I quote it so much, I quote Seinfeld so much still, even though it's been off the air for 20 years somehow. Just the Festivus episode just kills me. I still laugh so hard at this episode whenever it's on.
I still always want to have Festivus.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, it's like the 22nd or the 23rd. It might be the 23rd technically. Like the fact that it's actually still got a following 20 years after the show's been done is
right.
And I almost feel like it gets bigger every year. Like the Festivus stuff. Like you can get Festivus sweaters and the actual Festivus pole. You got the feats of strength, and it's just like, what other show can legitimately make up a holiday? Like, that is
seriously.
That's like my goal.
Brilliant
to make up a holiday that'll actually fit in to the Christmas season. But so yeah, I guess those are our top 5 holiday specials. So how's that nog going for you over there?
It's good, man. I finished both of them. I mean, I've at least completed both nogs.
Okay. I have so I have 2 final nogs I'm going to try out. I might do one, then have you do one, then I'll just come back and try my second one.
Okay.
If that makes sense, because I busted out 2 different kinds of liquor
nice.
Final ones. And so because I think this one's going to be worse, I'm going to do this one first.
Yep.
But I'm going to use a bit of Scorpion Mescal for this one.
Interesting. Okay.
It has been aged in oak, so it is a dark liquor. It is like a
it could work.
And actually, this particular Mescal is very highly rated. Like it's got like a 97% on whoever rated it. But when I first tried it, I thought it was going to be brutal, and it was surprisingly like really amazing. So I thought I'd throw this in there real quick. But all right, do that. Because basically I got to use up this eggnog anyways because I will not be drinking it after tonight.
Yeah, no, I've got like 7 days left on this eggnog. I think we bought it 2 weeks ago. So it's getting near the end.
Uh-huh.
And not the actual container. There's a lot of nog left.
All right, I'm going to sip on this, see how it goes. It does not go very well.
Oh.
So, all right. For anybody that's curious, mezcal, tequila is a mezcal, so that should give you. That should give you.
It's not gonna.
That is not.
It's not a traditional.
That does.
Not a traditional pour.
No. So okay. I'm gonna throw it over to you while I prepare my other one.
Okay, I'm also going with a little bit off the cuff here. Listeners on the show might remember that I'm a bit of an oddball when it comes to beer cocktails. I'm going to try another one right now with eggnog. So I have zero expectation for this, except to say that I'm using Short's Cozy Blanket Porter, and then I'm going to mix it with some eggnog. I'm hoping the nuttiness of this thing is going to kind of carry over and not be completely god awful, but I've got no doubts that this is probably going to be a bad situation. It's already kind of half curdling, kind of like one of those old Irish car bomb things. So I'm not. Yeah, this could be a bad situation, but we'll see. All right, so give this a shot here. It weirdly works.
Really?
It actually weirdly, it's super weird. I can't even really explain it. It's almost like a malted alcoholic drink. It really kind of almost works. This is actually kind of fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to work better than mezcal, so.
It's almost like, because all right, let me try just a straight up Cozy Blanket Porter real quick. Yeah, it's almost with like the carbonation, and then you get sort of like these coffee caramel nuttiness.
Okay.
With this American Porter, that mixed with this eggnog actually isn't that bad. I'm super surprised.
Interesting. Well, that's good to know.
It's strange, but it works. I think you got to definitely have the right beer for it.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be a super dark, kind of a holiday or at least a winter type of a brew, anyways. But yeah, it's almost like a chocolatey malted milkshake thing.
Okay.
That isn't terrible.
I wonder how this Blackwater Series chocolate or chocolat stout would go with that.
I sadly I think it would kind of work. I would hate to ruin that beer,
I'm not
but
going to ruin
think
it right now, but
no, I think it would work.
The final eggnog one I'm pouring is with 896 Barbados rum. So
that might be okay.
That should,
because rum's a very traditional one.
Yeah. So all right, I already got it poured and everything. So all right, I'm gonna take a sip. I mean, it's better. I'm just not a big rum guy.
I'm not either.
To be perfectly honest.
I rarely drink rum.
It's just sweet, and I'm not a big sweet drinker.
Yep.
Now, as I say that, I'm gonna pour out this chocolate beer.
Right. Sweet beers are something different, though. There's totally a difference.
Yeah. It's not like the sugar right on the tip. All right, I'm gonna crack this open. I'm gonna pour this in a glass, and let's just say, if the eggnog wins this and gets a clean sweep, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna that's gonna be coal in my stocking for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, that has got some serious head. Like I didn't pour it like you might like a guy at the baseball stadium giving you a beer. I did a little more straight, and that just crazy head, man. Like 2/3 of it.
Wow. Well, while you're waiting for that to settle down, I had the Southern Tier 2X Smiths or whatever it is. It's like 2X Xmas or something like that.
Okay.
On draft, I found it on draft at a local place up here in Interlaken.
Nice.
Called the Hofbrau. They got a ton of beers in tap. Great little place. Nice little plug for them. If anybody's in the area, they're solid. But I just saw it on the menu and I was like, I noticed Southern Tier, and I had that cinnamon roll on the last podcast. That was amazing. And then you were telling me about the pumpkin one. And so it's like I've got to at least like keep going with these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Super holiday-y. It was kind of piney, but with a little bit of that clove, nutmeggy kind of like spice to it. Like exactly what you were looking for in like a holiday beer.
Right. Now the Hofbrau, is that like a really like blue and white decoration? It might sound weird.
This one's more like there might be some blue and white in there, but it's like a little bit of like it's small. It's a lot of wood, log cabiny.
Is it kind of like a Bavarian style joint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think because I think isn't that like named for like the beer Hofbrau, and I think they have a few spots here or there that's like that.
They might. I do know. This is a little bit inside baseball because I also have a legal background, but they were sued by the legit German Hofbrau.
So it's okay.
Yeah, so like the German Hofbrau, like beer house kind of whatever.
Oh, so it's not part of that. Okay, when you said Hofbrau, I thought it was going to be like part of that chainish thing.
Yeah, no, I think this is a standalone, but it is supposed to be like that beer tavern like thing, and I do believe that you're not the only one to kind of get tripped up by that.
Sorry, my mom was trying to call me. I did.
Oh, you always got to like be on the lookout for that. No problem there.
Yeah. But all right, I think this is poured well enough to give this a whirl. It's got a nice, still creamy head on it, like you would get from a solid stout that hasn't been nitro sized. But
right.
I'm gonna give this a smell first. Definitely, I mean, it's definitely like a dark chocolate. It doesn't smell fake, but you don't get a whole much like a giant overpowering whiff of it.
Yeah.
But all right, I just gotta dig right into the smell. I mean, to the taste. Oh yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's
Not surprising. This company has been. You gotta drink more beer of these guys.
It's almost to the point of pushing closer towards a barley wine type thing, but I mean, it is like a 10% alcohol, so it's got heft to it. But it's almost close to a porter than maybe a stout because of the higher alcohol content.
Right.
And so it almost tastes like it's stuck in the middle of a porter and a stout. What is this actually? Okay, it is a stout. But yeah, you definitely have. It's more definitely dark chocolate, so it's a little bit more bitter.
Yeah. Yep.
There might be a little bit of a coffee hint to it, not like artificially sweetened, but actually like coffee bean kind of thing. There's not a lot of spices to it. It doesn't call itself a Christmas beer or anything, but it's you definitely get. I mean, it's a great tasting beer. I still gonna default. My favorite chocolate beer is the Young's Double Chocolate Stout. I think that's just.
I don't know who's gonna like top that one. That one is always been
especially
fantastic.
The nitrogen one. It's just perfectly infused and creamy. That is like my top 5, like
ever.
Beers, like of all
and
time.
It's always consistent. I've never had a bad. Like every once in a while, you just get a bad batch where it's like this doesn't taste like I remember it. Something's off.
Yeah.
That Young's Double Chocolate Stout is. I've been drinking that since you and I first found it. So 10 some odd years ago or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, I'll usually pick one up because I like it so much, and it's always consistently good.
Yeah, It's like a chocolate coffee milkshake, basically. Like
Yeah,
it's just,
it is with some punch to it.
yeah,
It's not like a lightweight beer.
yeah. Of course, there had been rumor that because Young's was purchased by another British company called, I believe it's Green King, which they traditionally owned a lot of like the local brew pubs that you have in England.
Yep.
And of course, Young's was kind of the same thing. It was more you have like each town has their own kind of little like brew pubs. Probably taste a little better than the explosion of brew pubs we got here now. But
Yeah,
I
right.
believe then Green King purchased Young's, and I had been hearing a lot of things that they were going to stop production of the nitro can. And I was just like,
Oh,
no,
wow.
hold on, you cannot do that. I did actually comment on their Facebook thing when they posted it, and they said, after I asked them about it, their comment was great. They just said, fake news. So I enjoyed their comment. So apparently
Nice.
the can is not going anywhere, but it is definitely worth it. But this is worth checking out, definitely the Southern Tier chocolate. Of course, I mean, it is a little pricier, I think. I can't remember... I think a single 12-ounce bottle costs between $3 and $5 here. It might have been like $4 actually, but
Yeah, that's definitely at the high end for a single bottle, but
yeah,
it's good.
yeah, it's a decadent chocolate stout with notes of dark chocolate.
Ooh, yeah.
According,
I think-
it's nice though. So on the bottle, they have the alcohol content. Then they list the color, body, and bitterness right on the label, so you don't have to guess.
Nice.
If you're not a big...
Yep.
It was born on October 9th this year, so it's pretty new. And it just says, our dessert beers are a fusion of exotic flavors, making each of them a perfect pairing when you are craving an exceptional stout full of perfectionality. Personality.
All right.
Personality. Perfectionality. Just making up words here.
Personality that's also a word for beer.
Damn
We're
straight.
gonna like own that one.
Yeah.
So the beer advocate folks, though, they kind of need to get squared up. I feel like because the Young's double chocolate stout is resting at a solid 4 point something, which
Okay.
whatever. I really believe that's kind of low for that one.
Right.
And the Southern Tier chocolate one is like a bit higher. So I'm like, I don't know. We've got a little maybe some home field favoritism happening.
There's a lot of home field stuff with Beer Advocate. There's some of their ratings kind of bother me, especially I think a lot of people that are local that drink their local beer will inflate it. Just
Yep.
because sometimes and a lot of the if it's like more bitter, people will rate it higher on Beer Advocate. It's very IPA snobbish, if I can say that.
It is. It
But,
is.
Drink what you like.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, but I am going to say that the Blackwater Series chocolate Southern Tier beer beats the eggnog this time. Woo!
Oh wow, man! Eggnog almost swept it, which is crazy.
Yeah. But since it beat two different eggnogs, it's tied at 2-2, man.
That's true.
It's tied. I'm going to have to come up with a
That's
tiebreaker.
true. Yep.
But, all right, so let's get into our final topic. And the final topic is, naturally, I don't know if we'll see if we can get this out before it comes out. But Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, premieres the 15th. You can get the early viewings on the 14th. We wanted to get in our last predictions for the movie. And if you recall, the very first episode of Two Dudes in a Six Pack we talked about The Force Awakens. Yes, it has been 2 years almost. And
Right,
we talked
yeah.
about spoilers. I feel like for this movie specifically, spoilers are going to be a big thing, much more so than Episode 7.
Yes,
But
I agree.
so yeah, we wanted to get into just throw out our final predictions of the movie. I outside of just the trailers, I haven't been into spoilers or looking up stuff. I did not want to ruin the movie for me. So
Yep. I haven't either.
going in as fresh as possible. I do have my
Yeah,
tickets.
same here.
I do have my ticket for 10:30 on Thursday. I waited a little too long, so I missed the very first showing. But I got a ticket. I do actually
Nice.
have an extra one if anybody wants to go.
Oh man, I got to get a plane ticket out to Arizona then
Yeah, do it, man.
by this time. Right.
Do it.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think I'm gonna see it Friday. I want to see it this weekend.
Okay, yeah.
This is like a big event for me. I feel like this is our generation's Empire. That's my first prediction. Is like I think a lot of things. I've got high hopes for this because my favorite Star Wars movie to date is still Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
I've watched Force Awakens multiple times since it came out. I really believe that a lot of the big hype for that movie came about because of the subtle little but well placed. I will say that nods back to the originals throughout the movie. But as a movie in the Star Wars canon, I don't think it's the strongest one.
No.
I still really like Empire. But I have a feeling I'm like, man, if this one can somehow win it out, it's a tall order.
Right.
But I want this movie to be like basically what Empire Strikes Back has become.
Right. And I like Ryan Johnson, the director. A lot of people it's not like a huge household name. I like him. I like what he's done before. He made my favorite Breaking Bad episodes. He directed those. And it's actually because some of the Breaking Bad episodes that he did that really gives me like for the character.
Good hope.
Yeah, for the character development is what like I'm whatever because Empire Strikes Back has the best like characterizations and development and growth of like any of the Star Wars movies.
Right.
And
yeah.
So you need that. And I mean, let's face it, Star Wars isn't necessarily known for fantastic acting. I mean, that's not always its
not
strong
really.
suit. But I have high hopes for this one because of that. But
Yes.
so all right, let's probably one of the most asked questions over the last 2 years is who is Rey's parents? And so is it anybody? Is it somebody? Who is it? What happens? I wanted to throw it to you and see what's your opinion. Who is it going to be?
Yeah, this is the question, right? This is like the big pressing issue here. I don't think it's Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
I will say that. I really don't think it's him. I also don't think that it's Han Solo and Leia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning more towards it somehow being her being tied into the Kenobi family somehow.
Okay.
If you watch The Force Awakens, there's that scene where she's in the woods and she hears a voice, and I swear it sounds very much like Ben Kenobi,
Right.
somehow. So I don't think it's Ben because he's dead. He's been dead way too far for her to even be conceived and born. But
Right.
we never really know anything about the Kenobi family. We know that they were Jedis
Uh-huh.
because Obi-Wan grew up and became one. But where are the other Kenobis, right? Did he have any other? Did he have a twin sister that we don't know about?
Right.
I don't know. Like I'm kind of leaning more into it being a Kenobi tie-in and getting that whole thing back into the canon.
Okay. So my guess is it's going in totally opposite directions. So I was thinking, okay, you're never going to get something bigger than Luke. No, I am your father. You're not going to beat
Right.
that. You're not going to surpass
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So almost to me, it's like, why try? You're just going to set yourself up to shortcoming, right?
Yep.
So my thought is nobody. She's nobody's parents, or she's
Just new.
nobody are her parents. But we find out that Kylo was the one that dropped her off on the desert planet. And he did
Okay.
that because after he wiped out the Luke's Jedi Temple, he actually saves her and drops her off so Snoke and nobody else can find her. So it's almost like a protection thing because
Yeah.
he obviously
So
he knows who she was. He's obviously what girl, so he knows
Yep.
who Rey is. I just think that and if we're gonna try to bring him back to whatever, he already killed Han Solo, so you're gonna have to get some serious
Oh, you need some
credibility.
major redemption
And I
at
feel
this
like
point.
that would help if you knew that he's kind of saved her. You're like, okay. And I also feel like when Luke sees all that for the first time, it's also like maybe he thought that she was dead. Like maybe he thought that she just didn't exist anymore. So it's
Right,
almost like
right.
and you had that thing in the trailer of Luke's like, I've seen this power only once before. It didn't scare me then. Blah blah blah. What if he was
Yes.
talking about Rey and he didn't even like? This is when he's just like figures out that like, oh, you're that girl, you're her. Like maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that part doesn't happen. But I feel like you can't. It might not be like a big parent revelation, but it is maybe more of a revelation of who dropped her off.
Yeah, like why did she get on Jakku?
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
honestly,
that's interesting.
it's never said that she doesn't know who her parents are.
That's
Like,
true.
She's like,
And
what is she, like 8 years old when she's getting like dropped in the desert? So she has to
yeah,
have some
she's
kind of
definitely
idea.
old enough to know. Yeah. And you have plenty of scenes where uh Kylo is really wrestling with this like I don't I really don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
Like there's that scene where he's talking to the Darth Vader helmet and he's
Mhm.
like take me back into the dark side kind of thing. So he's almost like geared towards being a good person
Right.
and intentionally trying, not to for whatever reason. I don't think anybody really knows.
No.
And totally agree, man. If they're going to try to redeem this character and turn him, which would be a bit of a twist. We've
Right.
never really seen that happen yet.
Yeah.
Then there has to be some major tie-in
Uh-huh.
to him being like, I still think wouldn't they have to justify Han's death at some point? Like, how does he get around that?
Yeah. You got to make it worth something.
But here's the thing, though. I think this is another prediction, though, right? We don't really know. There's predictions that Solo's coming back.
Right. I don't know how he comes back. I mean,
I don't either.
they threw
I
him
really
down a
don't.
planet and then blew the planet up. I mean,
They stabbed him with the lightsaber, threw him down a pit, and then blew the planet up. How does he
Yeah.
come back?
I mean, I could see maybe if there's like a vision or something, then maybe Harrison Ford actually technically appears in the movie, but I don't think as like living, breathing that. I mean, that possibly
I
makes
really
sense.
kind of hope it doesn't because I don't know how you get around that logically.
Yeah.
How do you really make that work and make it okay? We're in the Star Wars universe, so when I say believable, like I get it. It's not believable, but how do you make me buy into that as a Star Wars fan?
Right.
Right? You got to make that work somehow. So I don't buy that at all. I've kind of heard that here and there that maybe somehow he's not gone, but I'm like, I don't know how you make that a valid argument.
Yeah. I think that's just people grasping at straws for Han Solo can't be dead.
Hey, they
It's like,
love
no,
they
no,
love
he's
Han
dead.
Solo.
He's dead. I'm sorry.
He's dead.
It's
He's
just
gone.
like, yeah, got a lightsaber through the chest, and yeah, he fell down a planet that exploded. So I don't know
That's
how
right.
he crawls
Yeah.
out of that one. Like,
We spoiled it the first episode of Two Dudes. We're still spoiling it, guys. He's not coming back.
yeah. But so also maybe the second biggest question is who is Snoke? Is Snoke anybody? Is he?
Yes.
I mean, he's obviously got a gnarly scar and whatever. Like, do you think he's anybody in particular, or is he just Snoke?
This is something I've been kind of thinking about, and I go back and forth on this, and I was like trying to think back to even like the return clones. What's that one? The second one.
Oh,
the
Attack of the
prequel series.
Clones.
Yeah, thank you. Attack of the Clones, and trying to see if because he's got a kind of like a gnarly scar on his head.
Yeah,
He's
almost like he was
bald.
bashed in or whatever.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, did one of them? Is there any kind of clue that he was somebody that we knew about? And I don't really think there is. I almost think that he's just kind of like a Yoda character, sort of.
Right.
And if there is any backstory, it'll only be revealed in later episodes. I don't think we know anything about him now.
Uh-huh. Like, all right, this is I don't even think this isn't really a prediction because I don't think it's accurate. I don't think it happens. But the only thing, if he was somebody, the only thing I could think of would be the Emperor's master, Darth Plagueis, whatever. Because Darth
right.
Plagueis, if all the kind of old canon, which isn't really canon anymore, it was to be looked at, and that was he amassed a very, very large fortune, which allowed him to gain influence and work behind the scenes, which helped Palpatine become, whatever, rise up on Naboo and become senator or whatever. So if maybe he didn't, because they even said that he was trying to find a way to not die, basically, and then the Emperor.
Yeah, that's right.
Then Palpatine's like, but I killed him, basically, without so many words. So maybe he didn't kill him, and he just kind of hid away like a Sith does, and just kind of waited it all out. And so he's got the money to rebuild the new order or whatever it's called. And so that's the only thing I could think of. Maybe he didn't die and he still had the money, so he's able to rebuild it. But I don't think that's true. It'd be a nice little throwback, but to the prequels. But
right.
I feel like if that was the case, wouldn't you just have the original what's his face do the voice? But maybe that'd be too obvious.
It might be, but yeah, this has been an interesting one for me. What's the whole situation with there's always two of them too, the master and the apprentice. Right, and I wrestle back and forth with this one because I'm not even convinced really that Kylo Ren is the apprentice.
Right.
And this kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. We don't really know, is he really the quintessential bad guy? I mean, we've sort of all set him up to be the Darth Vader, but he clearly has some moral fighting going on within himself that Vader never did. We never saw any of that happening until the very end, where he finally started to kind of get reformed a little bit. So, to me, it might be a situation where this whole who is Snoke thing ties into the notion that Kylo Ren isn't the apprentice, and that maybe Snoke is, and there's some other master, out there. I don't know. And this kind of goes back to, okay, so there's another theory out there that I did see with regard to the movie posters. I don't know if did you see this one at all?
I could have.
So this one kind of goes back to, if you look at the movie posters, pretty much going back to obviously the originals, but then even into the prequel side of things, the main villain is typically
I did see this.
reddened and in the middle of the poster or whatever. And technically that's, in this one, that's Luke Skywalker.
Right.
So, and there's some odd scenes. Even the last, even Ren handing the lightsaber to Luke is a little bit curious to some degree. And there's some question about why Skywalker completely isolated himself, too. And so it's is Skywalker maybe, did he become his father, basically?
Right.
And you've got Snoke who's weakened and grooming Kylo Ren to become the next apprentice. Is that what's happening? I don't know.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what's going to happen on this.
I think that's why it makes this so much kind of fun to check out too.
Yeah, because it's not when you go see a Marvel movie, you almost already know the story beats for the most part because they showed it to you in the movie trailer. But with this, you just I don't really know.
No, it's gonna be some cool space fighting, and I like the characters. But yeah, honestly, I have no idea where they're going with it. It's an ominous title too.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah. So, do you think somebody dies of the characters that we know? If you had to make a call, who do you think dies, if anybody?
If anybody, I think Luke Skywalker dies.
Yeah.
If I'm totally, and I do think I think what I just kind of said is way off base. I don't think it's going to be that intricate. Just because these guys they're aging out of the series. They're not as relevant to it anymore. A big death is kind of a big draw.
Mhm.
They need characters like Finn and Rey and Kylo and Poe to kind of carry on, at least until the third one. I don't
Right.
think they're going to kill off one of those core characters yet. So if there is a big death, and obviously with Carrie Fisher passing, I think I don't think that's going to be the one. If there is some kind of like culmination, I think it's Skywalker in this one.
Mm-hmm. See, I actually think that it's going to be Princess Leia who dies. And the reason I think that is because I feel like you have to put it on screen. I feel like you can't just write it off into like episode 9's crawl, whatever.
Right,
I feel
right.
like such a major character you can't just kind of throw out. I feel like she has to be on screen death, otherwise it just kind of, I wouldn't say cheapens, but I feel like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that was ever planned. I don't think that was necessarily what they wanted to do. But with her dying, I feel like they're like, okay, we have to do something, and we got to make it worthwhile. And I almost feel like that could be a very powerful scene if you find a way to edit that into the movie. Like, you already know the person herself is dead.
I can. Yeah, right. Exactly. That would be crazy powerful. Here's my prediction on that part of it. I don't think. Let's just assume she's going to die in this movie. I don't believe that was forethought out. I think if she dies in this movie, it's because she died this year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I think there's going to be maybe 2 major deaths then. I think you do see Leia die, but I think you only see her die because they kind of felt that exactly what you said. They got to give her the send-off she needs. And absolutely deserves too. I mean, so I fully anticipate a relatively emotionally strong scene where Leia dies.
Right.
I also do think that you're probably going to see somebody else die, like Skywalker, and maybe even both, maybe even kind of tied in the same scene.
Right.
I don't know how they would have done that, all things considered. But just because, if you looked at Leia's character in The Force Awakens, she still had some pretty. Almost set bigger, and she has to explore how she was dealing with Han's death and how she was dealing with Kylo being this evil cut off. Now they can't really do that, so they got to do something. So I do think I just think that's going to be that was more of an afterthought, and you're going to probably see maybe 2 major deaths, which would still go along with our original thought, which is that this is going to be a dark movie.
Yeah.
You're going to feel bad about this one. You're not going to feel like the Rebels are going to be in some bad shape at the end of this movie.
Yeah. Of course, whose death would make you, outside of Princess Leia, because that's tied to real life kind of, whose death would you feel more? You got Luke. What if Chewie died? What if
Chewie would be the one.
Okay. I got a question for you. Here's, which one would make you feel more sad if it died? Luke, Chewie, or the Millennium Falcon?
Oh man. I love the Millennium Falcon, but I could see that just getting destroyed and that kind of sucking, but they always rebuild these kind of things anyways. I'm going with Chewbacca. My favorite scene in The Force Awakens was his reaction immediately after Solo died.
Oh yeah, I wish they would have
and it,
like extended that a little bit. Just like
so do I. So do I. The whole life debt thing, and for anybody that's read up onto, the whole reason why this Wookiee is even traveling with Han Solo, like, that he's got like a life debt to this person. So when Solo died and he just goes just bonkers on these guys.
yeah.
And actually scores a shot on Kylo Ren, who is force attuned and should have been able to like stop that bolt and everything else like that. The fact that he even was able to shoot him,
Right.
it just goes towards like how emotionally driven he kind of was. Like, he's one of my favorite characters,
Right.
in general. And so for him to go down, if they did it in kind of like a meaningful way, because he's easy enough to kind of throw under the rug a little bit sometimes. I don't think they've really utilized him as much as maybe they could. He's always been a lovable kind of character, but never like a standout hero type of character. That one would mean more to me than Skywalker. And I'll go back to New Hope too. I hated Skywalker in A New Hope.
Oh yeah.
He was such a whiny, like, little punky kid.
Yeah.
Whining about like what is he trying to get?
Get some power converters.
Yes, power converters. He wants to go like racing with his buddy.
Go to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters.
Right, exactly. I've always he's been annoying to me, and even he felt so like I know he was supposed to be reverential in Jedi. Now he's like this big, powerful, Jedi, but he just kind of came off as a bit like a little bit like a dick, right? I was still mainly rooting for Lando and Han Solo and Chewie and all those guys. So for me, it would definitely be Chewie.
Oh, I agree. And he's almost like the family dog. Like if the dog saw you die and just lost its mind on the person that did it.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. I mean, I'd feel the same way. Like if Chewie went out in a heroic kind of way, he's like, no, Chewie.
Yes.
I cry more for Chewie than Han.
Right. I think I would.
Because Han walked out on a catwalk and you knew he was going to die because he was on a freaking catwalk because nothing good has ever happened on a catwalk ever.
No, not in that franchise. That's like the worst spot you want to be in.
Yeah, like stay away from the catwalks. Especially the catwalks with no hand railing because that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. If you're a Star Wars character and you find yourself on a scene with a catwalk and the enemy and nobody else around, like, this is the end for you.
Yeah. Oh. So while we're on the topic, so they announced a few weeks ago that Rian Johnson would be directing a brand new trilogy, Star Wars trilogy, and that it was going to have nothing to do, or it wasn't going to be connected with the ones we got going right now. Like, it wasn't going to be a continuation. It's going to be its own thing. So,
okay, right.
Do you have any idea or guess as to what it could be? What the trilogy might be based on? If it's based on anything.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man, that is such a good question. I'm trying to... Here's where my mind goes, like, immediately, is to... The prequels are such a black eye that I almost think that... Like, so it's in the Star Wars universe, then?
Yeah, they said, like, it's still Star Wars, but it's with, like... They didn't say all new characters. They just said they did say new characters on a different side of the galaxy. Blah blah blah. Kind of thing.
Okay, right. So I go back to timeline, and I'm trying to like figure out where this might be, and I really do think Lucas kind of dropped the ball on the build up to how this whole thing even kind of started. I think maybe he goes back and tries to give us a better setup. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of maybe what has like the right draw to this thing, but
right. Okay, My guess, you heard it here first.
Yes. Yes.
Is it's going to be based on the Journal of the Wills. Now, if for anybody that has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, the Journal of the Wills is like almost like the early like Bible almost of the Jedis. And if you remember in Rogue One, they're kind of wandering the streets before they get everybody, and you have the dude with the giant gun and the blind guy, and they were the Guardians of the Wills. And so you have a little reference to the Guardians of the Wills right now.
Yeah.
Most likely, you see in the trailer, there's like a book that Luke and Rey kind of like have. Most likely, that's going to be the Journal of the Wills. And now, it's actually like the original novelization of Star Wars that came out the year before the actual movie came out. The preface is actually a quote-unquote excerpt from the Journal of the Wills. So that is actually a legit canon thing. And now the only reason I think that Rian Johnson could be doing this, because I think when he was coming up with the characterization and during pre-production, and why Luke Skywalker goes on this really weird turn that even Mark Hamill says he didn't know why, I don't like, he didn't buy it at first. I think he had to basically come up with a lot of the theological stuff that would be found in this quote-unquote journal for Luke to end up on this path. And I think while he was coming up with that idea or the basic background, he came up with like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Like just like an idea. And I think that, I mean, I'm going off of absolutely nothing, but I personally think that while he was while the director basically had to create this book that changes the way Luke Skywalker thinks, he came up with a different idea for, maybe the very foundation of the Jedis or whatever the heck that actually is. So I think
that's really cool. Yeah.
And I also think if you did that trilogy right, it would enrich every other movie that's been out. Like, it would make the other 9 movies in Rogue One that much better if it could, like, enlighten some of this stuff and make some of this stuff more important. I feel like that could be really sweet.
The prequel. Yep.
So
I think
just an idea.
Yes. I think we're on the same page here. I didn't know that there was that thing, but that the prequels are such a black eye right now. If his trilogy goes back to this Book of the Wills, and the Book of the Wills is able to elevate the events that happened in the prequel movies, and then also comport with the original 3 movies and then the newer trilogy, that's like a win for an already successful franchise anyways. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of where my mind goes. Like, it could be super far back, totally no tie-in. You wouldn't even see any of these characters that anybody's really familiar with, but it would just connect it in a way where you watch the other movies and you think back to, that trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Or maybe he doesn't do it and then we just have to write it. So, by the time.
Yeah, circle TM, 2 dudes in a podcast, in case Rian Johnson doesn't do that. Then we said it first.
Yeah. Like we
George
said,
Lucas, you can call us. We'll send you this. We'll be like, yo, man, we already have this idea. You guys got to give it to us because we're awesome and we can do it. So.
Yeah. What if George Lucas didn't make Star Wars? He just made Stars War. And like completely. Yeah. So now that was a question I've thought of. So he had given Disney and Lucasfilm his original treatments of Episode 7, maybe 8 and 9, and they decided not to go with it. What if, at some point in time, that story comes out and we learn about it? What do you consider to be real, quote-unquote, Star Wars canon? The movies or what George Lucas actually said?
Oh, man. That is like...
is that like a Back to the Future Part 2 where you go back and into like really weird 1985 where Biff Tannen is like the head?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like... I gotta go with the movies that we have.
Right.
Because you still had who was it? Lawrence who wrote the first Star Wars? Let me look it up real quick. The first script wasn't completely scripted by Lucas.
I think he had some help from.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Lawrence Kasdan, right? You had Kasdan. You had these other guys that like had major hands in the way these things kind of crafted themselves. So I got to go with, and that's kind of how all good stories are. They're really not just one person.
right.
And this happens all the time in like comic books. Like if we think about Spider-Man, do we really only think about Stan Lee and what Stan Lee kind of thought? Or do we kind of think about all of the people that had a hand in creating this thing? So I think you give it credence, where it is, but ultimately the final expression of it with all the collaboration, that's ultimately like what it is.
Yeah, that's true, for sure.
And Lucas, I can't get around some of the things he's done and said. And he's such a weird guy sometimes. No offense, George Lucas, if you ever happen to be listening to this, but you haven't always been as consistent as maybe you could have been. That's all. It's just some constructive criticism from a friend.
By the way, could we use $100 million to make our own movie?
Yeah, that would be
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah. But all right, I think that pretty much wraps up our holiday stores, booze, Star Wars stuff. What was your favorite drink of the evening?
Yes, so as odd as it is, my favorite one was the beer eggnog cocktail.
Nice.
That one won out. I don't know how it did it. I would like to maybe do an experiment next year on the holiday episode, and I'll do this in reverse. I'll start with the beer cocktail and end with the Tennessee honey one, and see if my story changes.
Okay.
But like I said, it strangely worked. It was like a weird chocolate malted kind of holiday-ish drink, and I liked it a little bit better than the beer itself, which was not bad.
Okay.
But the eggnog with its nutmeg and the creaminess just kind of topped it over for a holiday drink.
Nice.
So I'm going with beer cocktail.
Okay, nice. And I'm going with the Southern Tier Blackwater chocolate beer. I don't think there's any surprise with that one.
Yeah, no surprise. Sorry, Nog.
Yeah, sorry, Nog. But yeah, I guess that is our episode for the week. We got, Star Wars coming out this week. We have, Christmas, and I'm not sure when Hanukkah and all the other holidays are, but everything's around the corner. So I hope all you guys have a fantastic holiday season, and we'll try to get another episode out before New Year's. No promises, because stuff happens, but there's a possibility Chris and I are in the exact same location, so we could record our very first on-location podcast together. That'd be kind of crazy. But so yeah, Chris, you got anything else to add?
No, that's it. Happy holidays. Try some of these nog recipes, and I'd happy to carry that conversation on, or to kill it if it's just god awful.
Yeah.
But let's put a pin in it, regardless.
Yeah. And if you guys have any show ideas you'd like to hear us rant about, talk about, whatever, let us know in the comments. Again, this is still a YouTube exclusive. I'm thinking we're going to shoot for the new website to be open right after the New Year's, so we can get a whole bunch of just new great content to you guys. So check out the YouTube channel. Of course, you're obviously already there. But like and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I guess for now, happy holidays. And we will catch you guys all on the flip side. See ya.
Thanks for listening. All original music is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. If you can, please rate, review, and spread the word of Two Dudes and a Six Pack.